Okay guys, welcome to another video. Today we'll be showing you a Ryzen 7 5700G pre-built PC that we bought online. Although there are quite an issue on this build. First of all, the motherboard that we are using right now is a B450M with a brand of pretty much an unknown brand. This is a Kai B450M, so Kai, and they are using a King Bank 2666 Hz DDR4 RAM, so with only a single module, but still it comes with a Ryzen 7 5700G. So the only issue that we encounter here is that it's temped, as seen on this stress test. When it's on max load, it reaches on 95.3, so it is quite on the high side. It is already reaching the limit of the silicon or the chipset, I mean the CPU. So that is not quite a healthy temperature that we are having on this board. But since we still don't know the actual factor that is affecting this build, we will try to fix this by upgrading our case fans and CPU cooler. So let's do it right away. So this is a Ryzen 7 5700G pre-built PC that we bought on Shopee. So it is built on a generic case with no fans included, and what's inside is a stock cooler for AMD, although we don't know if this is a Stilt or a Spire stock cooler, but this is definitely a generic a stock cooler, and it reaches 95.3 on max load, so that is a bit of a problem. So it comes with a board which is a Kai B450M motherboard. So as you can see on the brand here, it says Kai, which is a brand that I've never heard of, but the seller said that this is their board, so that must mean they built it, although they are just starting. So this is a new brand of motherboard, and it comes with a single stick, single module 8GB 2666 RAM, so they are DDR4, and a Keytech power supply. And then we will try to fix the thermal throttling by replacing the stock cooler with the Deepcool AG200 with two pipes. So let's try to switch it. So first, let's remove the stock cooler, but before that we will have to remove the entire board so that we can remove the plate on the back. We'll start by removing the cables. Okay, now that we have removed the cables, we will be removing the screws for the board. Okay, now that we have removed the screws for the motherboard, we will remove the board itself and set aside the entire case for now. So let's just take the board and set aside the case. Then let's put it here. Now the second step is that we will remove the stock cooler. So let's remove it. First, let's unplug the 4-pin connector, and remove the cooler. Okay, now that we have removed the stock cooler, let's set it aside. Then let's wipe the thermal paste off of the CPU. Now that our CPU is clean, our processor is clean, we will have to connect or attach a bracket for the Deepcool AG200, since this type is a snap-on type or whatever they call it. And then the bottom side. Now that we have connected the two brackets for the cooler, let's connect the new cooler. So first, what we have to do is put a new thermal paste on the CPU, on the processor. Although the AG200 already have a stock thermal paste on its contact, so if you don't have a spare thermal paste, you don't need to put a new one. Okay, now that we have connected the CPU cooler, we just need to put it back inside the case and connect the case fan. So first, let's put the motherboard back to the case. Let's put one more on the opposite diagonal side, so that we won't have trouble on the placements of other screws. And we're done on putting back the motherboard. Now we just need to reattach the cables. First the ATX cable here, then the 8-pin CPU connector here. Let's put the SATA cable for the SSD here, the USB on the side of the front panel connectors, and then the audio connector cable here, and also the front panel. So here it all depends on the motherboards, and here on Kai it is green, white, orange, and then red, blue. Okay, now that we're done connecting the front panel connectors right here, and we're basically done on connecting all of the cables for the motherboard. Let's connect the fan for the CPU cooler there. Okay, now we have connected the CPU cooler. Now we only have to connect these two, the case fan. This is just a normal fan, no LED RGB stuff. So the 80mm fan goes to the back. Let's put it here. So this will directly serve as an outlet for the fan that is going through the CPU cooler and straight to the outside. Next up is the 120mm fan. Right on the front of the case, since the side of the case will be covered with the table, so we'll put it here. Although the SSD is placed right here, so we will put it at the bottom, the SSD, and then we'll put the case fan right here. Okay, so my fingers are almost bled trying to open the front panel, but I managed to open it. So this is how it looks, and then I remove the SSD from the front panel, and it's just kind of flying down here, but we'll put it here. So here we already managed to attach the front panel case fan that will be an intake fan, and here is the outtake fan. So let's just close it, and then the next step after this one is we will put the SSD in the bottom right here. Okay, now that we're done touching the SSD on the bottom, and we're finished on connecting or attaching the exhaust fan and also the intake fan, the outtake, let's take a look at the back panel. What we failed to see is that we could have put another fan here, but I don't know if it will matter because there are no holes in the front right here for the fan to take air off, only at the bottom. Maybe if we have put a fan here, it will also take here, but we're only able to put two, 180mm and one 120mm. So let's take a look at the back panel. So this is how it looks like. What we can just do is connect it right here. I put it right here, extend it a little bit. There's not much cable management when it comes to a simple build like this. You just curled it around, tied it in a single loop. Then after we connected the first one, we connect the second one right here. Just put it there, and then somehow close the panel. It's quite tight because there are a lot of cable inside, but still close, so we don't have a problem. Now after that we have put the CPU cooler and the two case fan, before we close it, let's test if the case fan and the cooler is working. So let's connect a power cable on the computer. Okay, let's connect the power cable right here, the power supply, and let's test if the fans are working. So let's turn it on. Okay, so the 80 millimeter is working, CPU cooler is working also, and the front intake, so the three of it is working. So now let's close it. Let's turn it off first. Let's close the panel. And then let's connect it to the monitor and see if it's turning on, and we'll check the temps if it fixed our temp issue. So let's connect it and we'll be right back. This is where the system unit or the computer will be placed. That's why we placed the case fan on the front. And since we're only testing it first, we won't be putting it there and connecting all the devices. We'll only be connecting the monitor, the HDMI cable, and the power right here, and see if it boots up. Might be also the keyboard, so that we know if it boots up onto the desktop, the Windows desktop. So let's plug it in. Okay, let's turn it on. Okay, it's turning on. And since it's turning on, let's switch to the desktop recording and let's test the temps, if it's running good, if it has fixed the problem, or we're still having a temp issue. Okay, so now we're back on the desktop and we are using the OBS Studio to record the desktop. And then let's now, for the moment of truth, check if the temp issue that we were having before is now fixed using the airflow upgrade using the Deepcool AG200 and the case fan. So let's open hardware right here, and then we're currently sitting at the 58, 57. Mind you that this is a idle temp. Now let's run the CPU Z, and while opening the open hardware, currently we have 59.6 on max. Now let's try stressing the CPU to see the max load temp that we were having before. We were having 95.3, so let's see. Okay, now we're way past the 2-minute mark that we did on the earlier test, and currently we are on 90.9. Let's see if it will still rise. Okay, 91.0. It's still rising, although when we tested it earlier before we upgraded the fans and the cooler, in under 2 minutes it reached 95.3. So upgrading the cooler definitely changed and lowered our temps for a bit, but we will still have to check what other factors affect this temperature. So it definitely isn't on the cooling, so we might have to check on other things that affect this CPU temp. Okay, so just to give you a vague idea on how it performs in game or during gameplay, we will be doing quite a bit of a
warm up.
test or benchmark of this build playing Valorant and on these settings on OBS. And this is in a dual channel and 1080p resolution.
No hard feelings. 3 out of 5. Goodbye. Reyna killed. One down. One dead. Ouch. Four out of 5. Put down.
Okay, so one good thing about replacing the cooler and adding fans is that the idle temp went under 40, like this one, 38.6, although it still rises to 40 plus, but it then definitely didn't go this low when we were using the stock cooler. So this is a definite improvement from our old setup. So it was definitely worth it. Let me know on the comments below what you think about this current situation that we have. How can we improve our temps, and is the product or the PC that we have a serious issue? Let me know on the comments below. If you like the video, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, subscribe to our channel, and see you guys on the next vid. God bless us all.